Brazilian stocks have basically been ping pong balls, moving every which way based on where people think the presidential election will fall out. Our point was Petrobras is such a unique animal globally and as an energy stock that it defies that kind of simple analysis. And
why?
we
I mean, it
out.
is so tied to Dilma Rousseff.
Well, it is, and that's the interesting thing. Every time Dilma's poll numbers go up, Petrobras stock goes down, and every time Nieves' numbers go up, Petrobras' stock goes up. The problem is it is tied to Dilma. She was the chairwoman of this company. There's been a number of investigations and scandals swirling the company, around the company, and we're just not sure that even if Nieves wins, he's going to really be feeling all warm and fuzzy toward this creature. Having said all that, the economics are just so poor at Petrobras that we really have called it a scheme, not a stock.
A scheme? Do you believe they misled investors back in 2010 when they did the IPO?
Well, there was a slide in our presentation where we looked at the company's projections. They keep these 5-year plans that they keep revising. And suffice it to say that if you look on the table, they have been a tad too optimistic down through the years.
But is that enough to call it a scheme?
Well, no. The problem is that, in fact, the company is cash flowing about $26 billion U.S., so-called EBITDA. And its capex annually is $45 billion and another $5 billion of capitalized interest. So their gross cash flow is only covering half of their capital spending and capitalized interest, so they're not covering their dividend. And in fact, they're having to borrow the shortfall. And they're borrowing more than $20 billion U.S. a year. This is an enormous, enormous sinkhole from a financial point of view.
So their expectation to double output by 2020, for you, laughable?
Well, they can double output by 2020. For the last handful of years, 5 years, production really hasn't increased. And we put a chart up show the Robin Hood folks. Despite this enormous capital expenditures and the fact that their big pre-salt field is now coming online, production hasn't increased, and that's disturbing. Now, maybe it will double in the next 6 years, but we would argue it has to double to basically service all this new debt that they're taking on and will take on to complete the field.